Okay, let's dive right in. We're about to tackle a belief about work and productivity that you've probably held for your entire career. What if I told you that the most difficult, most complex part of your job is now the very first thing you should be giving away?
And this right here, this is the whole game. For decades, the rule was simple. Delegate the simple stuff. Well, AI has completely flipped that script. The hardest, analytical work, that's now the easy stuff to hand off. But the simplest human work, that's what's truly valuable. This one idea is about to change everything.
I mean, think about it. For decades, this was the playbook, right? Every business book, every manager told us the exact same thing. You handle the big, complex, strategic thinking, and you find someone else to do the simple, repetitive tasks. And you know what? It was great advice for a world that, let's be honest, doesn't really exist anymore. So welcome to the great delegation inversion. This isn't some small adjustment. It's a total reversal of how we should think about our work. AI has gotten so incredibly good at complex analysis that it's forcing us to completely rethink where our time is best spent.
Now this slide really gets to the heart of it. Just look at the contrast. On one side, you have what we used to call high IQ work, deep analysis, complex problem solving. Well, guess what? AI has turned that into a commodity. But on the other side, high EQ work, simple human interaction, that has suddenly become the scarcest and most valuable resource in the entire economy.
So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, think about these kinds of tasks. Plowing through a 40-page contract, trying to summarize hundreds of emails, comparing a dozen different vendors. This is the stuff that used to take us soul-crushing hours of deep focus. Now, an AI can do it in minutes. And honestly, it probably makes fewer mistakes.
And here's the other side of that coin. These things, they might look small on a to-do list, but their impact is huge. An AI can't read the tension in a meeting. It can't have a truly empathetic 5-minute chat with a team member who's having a bad day. This right here, this is where your humanity is your competitive advantage. This is what you should be doing with all that time you just got back.
Okay, this all sounds good in theory, but let's make it tangible. I want to tell you about a management consultant who really leaned into this idea, and it completely changed his business. He went from being a master of analysis to a master of presence.
And this chart just shows it all. It's night and day. He used to spend 80% of his day buried in spreadsheets and reports. Now he's handed all that analytical grunt work over to AI. And he's totally flipped his schedule. He now spends 80% of his time with clients, actually talking to them, listening, and just being present. And the results? They were incredible. And they were fast. First thing he noticed, his client retention just shot through the roof. See, by being fully present in conversations, instead of just thinking about his next data point, his clients felt truly heard. You can't build that kind of loyalty with a spreadsheet.
And what happens when clients are that happy? His referrals exploded. It's just a natural consequence, right? Clients who feel that kind of human connection don't just stick around. They become your biggest fans, your best advocates.
And finally, the ultimate proof, his income went up significantly. Why? Because he figured out that the visible work, all that analysis, was no longer the valuable work. He shifted his focus to the invisible work of building trust, and that's where the real value was.
So how can you start doing this yourself, like tomorrow? It actually starts with a really simple framework. Just 2 questions you can ask yourself every single morning when you're looking at your to-do list.
First question, what on my list today is just analytical heavy lifting? You know, the reading, the summarizing, the data crunching. Spot those tasks, and then your only job is to figure out how to delegate them to an AI tool.
And then comes the second, and honestly the more important question. Who on my list, or not on my list, just needs a human today? Who needs to be seen or heard? That becomes your new #1 priority. That is where you pour all the time and energy you just saved.
You know, when you start making this shift consistently, day after day, something really interesting starts to happen. You begin to develop a whole new professional identity, one that is perfectly built for this new era of work.
You become what we call a deep judgment, high presence professional. It's a great term, right? You let the AI do 80% of the analytical grind, so you can apply your human expertise to that final 20%, the critical judgment call, the strategy, and then you focus the rest of your energy on real, quality human connection.
Now, it is so important to avoid this common trap. This is not, and I repeat, not about dumbing down your job or outsourcing your brain. It's the opposite. It's about elevating your thinking. You delegate the grunt work so your mind is fresh and clear for the one thing AI can't do: make the final, wise judgment call.
And for anyone who's been in their career for a while, this should be music to your ears. All those years of experience, that hard-won judgment, that instinct you have for reading a room, those skills aren't becoming obsolete. They're becoming your most precious, non-delegable assets in a world powered by AI.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real. I want to leave you with a super simple one-week challenge to put this whole idea into practice, starting right now.
Here's what you're going to do. First, pick just one of those big analytical tasks that sucks up your time. Second, for just 1 week, give it completely to an AI. You only step in at the very end to make the final call. And third, and this is the best part, with those hours you just got back, call 3 people, colleagues, clients, whoever, with absolutely no agenda other than to see how they're doing.
And just remember, the goal here isn't just to be more efficient. It's not about saving a few minutes. It's about reinvesting that time where it truly, deeply matters. You're not just optimizing a schedule. You're strengthening the human connections that will actually define your success. The real gains here are measured in relationships, not in minutes.